This is World of Tanks Questions and Answers. I'm going to be using the World of Tanks forums. He's asking about blocking maps. I blocked the map Empire's Border, but I'm still forced to play this horrible map. The block feature is not working. Well, actually, that's not true. The reason why is because the blocking does not work for encounter mode or for assault defend, and Empire's Border has encounter mode. So he's probably playing the map in encounter mode. Lag, spikes, poor ping, and frames. Well, frames in general should be client side, not server side. Lag, spikes, says please fix this game. You can actually go to a site, I believe it's called wgstatus.com, and you can see when the server does in fact have poor ping or lag spikes. Between you and the server, you have to go through like 20 different routers to get to the game server. If you're lucky, maybe you only get 13. But there's a lot of routers between you and the game server, and if one of them has poor performance, then you're going to have a bad game, and that's it. And I keep an eye on WG status. I check it once a week. In general, performance is good. NA, which he's complaining about, did have issues with spikes for a short period of time, for a few hours, but they know what's going on, and I've checked the ping times. It's actually rare that there are lag spikes or poor ping on the servers. Chances are it is a network issue, and it doesn't have to be you and your provider. It could be anywhere along the line between the bigger hubs and the smaller hubs. There's a lot of internet traffic, and a lot of different matters can affect your ping time. More proof of Russian bias and revisionist history. So he's talking about view range, and he's saying that the view range doesn't have historical accuracy. Historical accuracy is really no longer in the game. There's historical accuracy to some respect, but they are putting their profits ahead of historical accuracy, and basically, which means that they do design the game to make it so that you fire more gold by making corridor maps and stronger frontal armor and things like that. Making armor more relevant is the way they express it. And he's talking about view range, and view range is supposed to be how tall your tank is. The taller your tank is, the further it's supposed to be able to see. So he is complaining about it, and people are saying no one really has a solid answer, but unfortunately, it's just not ever going to be historical accuracy. You cannot expect historical accuracy in the game, especially since the more time goes on, as the years go by, they have to make it less and less accurate in order to add new features. This person is talking about double-barrel tanks, and he's showing an example that there are other double-barrel tanks in the game. We're going to show you an example of one of them. It's right here. So there are other double-barrel tanks that could be included in the game. Maybe you wouldn't want to play these tanks, but there's definitely other vehicles out there that could be coming at some point. 26K in-game tonight. Can we stop with the game is dying lies? I remember it being in the 40 to 50,000 on the NA server. He's talking about the NA server. Maybe even 60,000 at its peak. I would say that the game is dying. I believe that there are fewer new players and more experienced players. And I play the lower tiers, and I really see a lot of experienced players in the lower tiers, and I don't see a lot of new players. The lower tiers are much harder than they are now. When I first started playing, lower tiers were very easy and a lot of fun, and people weren't very good, but now it's very different. Now, I believe that the newer players don't like the competitiveness of the lower tiers, and they don't advance beyond tier 4 as often. The game is not growing. There was a period when the game was dying, and when they added the improved graphics and pulled all the maps, they do things that have little spikes in the game, but in general, the game is not in a growth curve. How do you get 7 tier 10s and only have 52 battles? The reason why is because some people have special accounts, like press accounts, in this case a sheriff's account, that allows them to get vehicles that are put into their account where only a few battles are played. And also, the battle total might be for random battles only. So if they're playing team battles or training rooms, and the list goes on, It doesn't get added to their totals. Blueprints, you know what they really need? He's talking about a wild card blueprint. I really don't think it's necessary. I think that blueprints are a really good feature. I wish they had them a long time ago. I've researched almost every tank. I've got tons of blueprints. So to me, it's a non-issue, but I really think that they're good the way they are. Japanese tank destroyers. There are Japanese tank destroyers that are coming. Perhaps we'll see a few of them here. They're going to be okay. They're not going to be game changers. There's really nothing super special about the Japanese tank destroyers. I do look forward to playing them, but they're not going to be amazing tanks. Bushes and brush that do not count as concealment. There's actually a page that shows you the different types of vegetation and the maps, and it does show you that there are some that do not have concealment. But in general, it looks like most of them do, in fact, have concealment. Ranked is utter crap, worst game mode in history. I don't think so. I think that you just have to learn to play differently, and I really enjoy playing ranked battles. In fact, if they only had ranked battles and got rid of random, I would play ranked battles if we could play it all the time. Stop the rigging wargaming. He's talking about rigging games because he lost 3 out of 4, even though he's a great player. And he's played 52,000 battles. But, it's a team game. It's 15 players on your team. And the teams are random. You're going to have teams that are good. You're going to have teams that are bad. You're going to have players that are good. You're going to have players that are bad. But then what he's actually complaining about is premium tanks and game balance, which is not rigging. He's talking about selling less premium tanks to people that don't know how to play them. I really don't think that's a good idea. And he's saying work on game balance. I believe that the game is balanced. They're random teams, and the game's actually really good. It's just something that people are complaining about because they lose a game. The people are obsessed with winning and losing. I really think they're overreacting.